Hello, crafty peeps. Welcome back to my channel, Crafty-ish Kristen. Today is part 3 of our kitting up of the diamonds for my diamond painting that I am using a cross-stitch pattern for. The name of the pattern is Geode, and it is by a company called Electric City Stitches on Etsy. The owner of the shop graciously recharted some of the colors for me, so there are no DMC number 1 through 35 in the pattern anymore because they do not sell those in diamonds. My cat is currently sniffing my diamonds. He needs to go away. Thank you. And the finished project will have 136 colors, and it will measure about 121 centimeters by 117 centimeters. So it's a big boy. I will be working on this from 3 separate canvases, each measuring about 43 centimeters by 118 centimeters. And I ordered those from EverMoment on AliExpress. And I ordered all of my drills from DPF Handwork store, also on AliExpress, because I don't have that many spares. I will be working on Pattern Keeper for the pattern, and it has translated beautifully, so that will not be an issue because I don't know if I could keep track of 50-something pages of a pattern. So let's get this started. I already have some. This is tray number 2, and I only have about 45 more colors left to go. And I used my brain cells, and I put in dryer sheets in all the diamonds because if you watch the last 2 videos, I made a big mess because they were hopping all over the place. So let's get this finished so I can actually start on the project, because I am so excited and a little scared, to be honest. Let's see. So I am using the storage containers from Art Dot, and I'm using the 240 bottle case because I wanted to make sure that I could keep all of my drills in one place. Even though I put a dryer sheet in there and I shook it like crazy, there is still some static, but not as much as there was yesterday. That was an event. Let's see how many bottles it takes me before I spill an entire bottle. Any guesses? I'm going to say 10. Now, some of my bags, there are going to be a lot of bottles for some of these because I believe it is, which one is it? I'm looking at my list. 3865, I have over 20,000 drills for. So yeah, some of these are gonna require a lot of bottles. I think that's my color that I have the most of, is that particular one. And I have already made labels. I do have some labels already made up. Let's see, 3042. I printed 2 sets of labels, and some of them I knew I was going to have too many, so I put them on bottles already, but others I did not anticipate how many spares they would actually give me, which I am not complaining because I would rather have too many drills than not enough, because like I said, I don't really have a lot of spare diamonds. So if I had to wait or reorder or ask, you know, people online or on Facebook if they had diamonds, that could stall my progress. Although honestly, it's gonna be a while. I did only have one color that I did not receive from the seller, and they are sending me, they are sending them to me. So I don't know how long that's going to take. It took about 3 or 4 weeks to get the initial set. So I'm hoping, because, whoa, almost on bottle number 4, man. I'm hoping because it was such a big order that's why it took longer because, I mean, it was 136 colors, and there are over 200,000 drills in this project, so that's a lot of diamonds. So, oh, they are still staticky though, man. I know some people say that staticky drills are a sign of good drills, but I mean, could they just maybe be like a little bit crappier and less staticky? I mean, that's just me, but let's see, so that's 3072. 3072. So that's just me. So it is currently, while I am filming this, it is July 5th. And we had a very loud 4th of July. Even though they banned fireworks all around us and in our county, it didn't really seem to do anything. There were still lots of people lighting off fireworks, and it's a little, I feel bad for the people around us, even though a lot of them are the ones lighting off fireworks, because they have farm animals, because we don't really live in a overly city-ish area. So I kind of feel bad for the people with farm animals, because I mean, I know even just domestic animals can get scared. Luckily my cats did not seem to mind, but you know, some people have, you know, dogs and other animals. They get really freaked out. So, and you know, I've seen what, you know, an animal getting hurt on the 4th of July, or, you know, getting spooked can happen. My parents had some friends, and when I was little, I remember they had horses. And one year, one of the horses got really spooked on all the explosions, and it got out of the barn or stall. I don't really know barn details. I don't really know. But it got out, and it got caught up in one of the barbed wire fences, and it just tore that poor horse's, you know, neck up and legs up, and they had to have, you know, an emergency vet come out, and they had to do surgery, and it was a big thing. So I always, you know, we do have a neighbor with horses, and I always think, oh my gosh, those poor horses are probably just freaking out. But you know, but then their owners are out there lighting off fireworks. So I mean, yeah, so I will put a label on that one later. I'm not going to do that right now. So I am team not fireworks, but that's just because I don't really like unpredictable things flying overhead and exploding near me, and, you know, going near my face and my body and my children and all that. But I'm kind of the minority in the family, so I'm the one who stays inside and looks out the window and is like, wow, good job, everybody. I hope you're having fun, because I don't want to be out there. Let's see, some of these aren't too staticky, thank goodness. We did have, you know, whenever on 4th of July you hear, you know, sirens and cop cars go past your house really fast, you always think, oh geez, did somebody get hurt, or, you know, an ambulance or whatever. But it turns out it was just a shooting. So, you know, that's that's reassuring. No, that's horrible. So that's not a better situation by any means. Yeah, I feel bad for people who have to get up, you know, like early in the morning after the 4th of July, because you're not going to get not gonna get a good night's sleep. I mean, our fireworks are banned around here, and it still was just sounding crazy and loud and explosive until, you know, almost 1 a.m. So they should really give people the day after 4th of July off, because that's the day when you're like super tired because you didn't get any sleep. Ooh, that one came out nice. So that is going a lot faster with the dryer sheets in there. I had to take my mom to the dentist today. She has to get some dental work done, and as I was driving to pick her up, there was like a brand new car out for a test drive, and the driver was not really driving that responsibly, which, oh, don't mess up your order. Which is always kind of surprising when you see people in brand new cars like driving all over the place. It's like, really? Like, you have a brand new car. Or, I mean, this person probably wasn't even their car. That is not the right number. But yeah, I'm always like, oh my gosh, I'm always so nervous when I'm driving a car, like a brand new car, for the first, like, you know, week or so, because you don't want anybody getting near it, because, you know, it's your brand new car. And I mean, yeah, it's gonna get all banged up and scraped and dirty and all that, but you know, you don't want it to happen right away. So I would like to know, how many people out there are team brand new car or team used car? Because I know people on both sides of the fence. You know, some people refuse to buy a brand new car because, you know, they say it's a waste of money, and you know, the car loses value the second you drive it off the lot. And then I know people who like get a new car like every year. So I don't think they're actually buying them. They're probably just leasing them. But yeah, what are people's thoughts on that? I am team new car because my dad always said he did not want to inherit someone else's problems. Now, I'm sure it's better now than it was when I was a kid, because, you know, you didn't have these internet databases where you could, you know, look up the car and all of that. So I'm sure, so I'm sure it's better and easier to find out information about a car now than it used to be, because before, you know, you were just kind of taking the word of the seller and hoping that they're being honest and truthful, and that, you know, they didn't have an accident and, you know, tape the airbag together or fill it full of shredded newspaper or something. But then again, like, I knew somebody who even like told me once, they worked at a car dealership, and they were like, yeah, if you're going to sell your car, you know, bring it in and we'll move the odometer back for you. And I was like, what? But my car isn't, like, my car is newer. It has a, you know, it's like, it has a digital thingy-mabobber, odometer thing. And he's like, oh yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. Hopefully nobody was actually watching and didn't just get whiplash, because sorry about that. But I was a little shocked, because I'm like, you can do that? You can, on a digital car, you know, a digital odometer thing, you can turn that back? He's like, oh yeah, it's super easy. I was like, well, that's kind of scary. So, I mean, and that was like probably 10 years ago. But, you know, it kind of makes you wonder. You're like, oh, geez, what else are they, you know, modifying when you take your used car in to trade it in, or, you know, can they just forge the odometer? Can they, you know, I have no idea. So I was always like, yeah, I'll do that, but it kind of felt a little shady to me. So I don't think well, I know I didn't. But I think the car he was actually referring to, I think it actually got totaled, so I didn't really get a chance to trade the car in because it got ruined. It was actually the first car that I had ever like paid off, you know, on my own without, you know, help or trading it in for a different car. I was so excited. The car was paid for. I think it had only been paid for maybe 6 months. And it was 4 days before Christmas. My mom and I had taken my son out to breakfast before we were going to go run errands, and it had kind of snowed a little bit the night before. Not like a crazy amount, but in our area, if it snows, it's, you know, everything comes to a complete standstill. So we had gone out to breakfast, and we were coming out of the restaurant, and somebody said, oh man, you know, so that car over there, that whatever brand it was, got hit. And I was like, oh, well, thank goodness, that's good, because that's not my car. Yeah, no, they were talking about my car. So an uninsured motorist had lost control of his van and went through the parking lot and hit 3 cars. And my car was the car in the middle of the 2 other cars that he hit. So both cars had simultaneously smashed into my car. And I just remember looking at that and being like, oh God, really? You know, my car had just been paid off. And so, you know, I had to call AAA. And of course, because it had, you know, snowed a fraction of a centimeter and the roads were kind of icy, well, everybody needed AAA. So that took forever. So yeah, they towed my car, and, you know, I think it was Christmas Eve, I get a phone call from the auto body shop, and they're like, yeah, no, your car's totaled. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, no, it's going to cost too much to replace everything. I'm like, oh. So that was my Christmas Eve gift, was your car that is paid for is busted. So that was sad. So, you know, then you have to go buy a new car, and it's just as fun as it is driving a new car. It's the whole car buying process is not fun. I'm like the person who's like, okay, just give me the best price you can. Just give me the dang car. Like, I want the car now. And yeah, not everybody's like that though. So me, it's like, I know what I want. Give me the car. Oh, this one's gonna have, oh, that's a big one. That one is gonna have a lot of bottles. Okay, so that is 3756. Okay, and then we're just gonna get a bunch more. So here we go. This is gonna be the one that spills. I just have a feeling. So some of the bigger bags, I did put multiple dryer sheet pieces in, hoping that it cuts. Oh, that's making a mess. Oh dear. I could never work in a restaurant and pour things for people, because yikes. Oh. Okay, let's get lids on these before I spill them. My dad he would buy used cars, but like only if it was like a classic car, or if it was a Jeep or something he was planning on rebuilding anyways. Those were the only times he actually was like willing to purchase a used car. So, you know, I mean, and everybody has a different, you know, different reasons. I mean, and obviously if you can't afford a brand new car, then yeah, you're gonna have to go with what you can get, you know? I mean, and I'm sure not all people are shady and lie about a car's, you know, history. Yeah. And there's just, you know, there's something about driving that new car. Oh, and I mean, I love the fact that like every time I get a different car, you know, every however many years, like 5, 6, 7, 8, like the features and I mean, just the safety features alone are just like, I mean, I remember my car I have now, it's 6 years old. And I remember, you know, going and looking at the cars and they were like, yeah, you know, it has a backup camera. And I'm like, what? A backup camera? Like, gee willikers, that sounds cool. You know, because it was like, that just sounds space age, like a backup camera. You know, and now I think all new cars now actually have to have a backup camera. I could be wrong. Nobody quote me, because I very much could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing, because I had to drive my husband's car, because my car had a bolt in the tire, which I have like the worst luck with driving over bolts and screws. And I even drove over a key and it embedded itself into my tire. They were flabbergasted at Les Schwab. They're like, how did that even happen? And I was like, dude, I don't know. It's a mystery to me as well. But his car doesn't have a backup camera. And I'm like, wow, it's been a long time since I have driven a car without a backup camera. I literally was like, I don't feel safe backing up, because I was terrified I was going to kill someone. So I had to go to the grocery store, and I literally made sure that I pulled into a grocery like stall, you know, or a parking spot. God, I had to park into a grocery stall. That'd have been horrible. But I made sure that I parked so I would not have to back up, because I was like, I don't want to hit anybody. That would just be, you know, I mean, because I literally felt like I was just, even though I can turn my head and I'm looking in my mirrors, I still felt like there was some really, really big blind spots, which I did not expect. Would that fit in there? That might fit. Let's try. Oh, geez. Oh, well, that's not spilling a whole jar yet. I don't even know what number I'm on, so. So, yeah, I mean, hats off to people who can back up, because apparently I have lost that skill without having a backup camera. So, and the thought of my teenager driving in like a year and a half is kind of terrifying as well. I was like, we have to make sure he has a car with a backup camera, because I don't want him to back into somebody or, you know, hit somebody. That would be awful. I mean, obviously he needs to learn how to back up without a backup camera, but it's just like an added, you know, if he can have it, then definitely. Come on. Oh, that might fit. We're gonna try. We are gonna try. It seems silly to have just like a handful of diamonds in a bottle, but then again, if I open it, yeah, if I open it, it's gonna go all over. Oh, geez. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, seriously. Yep. I'm a mess. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. So let's get all these picked up. Let's put this lid on so we don't spill that one. Yep. Yes, so it is currently 89 degrees, and where we are in Washington, it seems like it's getting hotter and hotter every year. But then people are like, no, no, no. But it's, yeah, I don't remember it being this hot for this long in Washington when I was a kid. So I'm not a fan of being hot and sweaty. And, you know, and I know some people say that heat, like if it's a dry heat, it's okay. I mean, once you hit a certain degree, I don't think it matters if it's a dry heat or if it's a wet heat. It's just going to be stifling no matter what. But for me, 89 degrees when it's like super moist outside, and seriously, do people like the word moist, or do you just like get a shudder when somebody says it? It's not my jam. I don't want to go outside. I mean, I'm really pale and I burn super easy. I have been that way since I was a kid. So I am just not one to go and sunbathe. It's not in my DNA. So when it's 89, my brain's like, and now we sit inside and we enjoy the air conditioning because it's too hot. It is too warm. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember we didn't have air conditioning. It was like, we had like a house with like metal siding. I mean, it was stifling when it was hot outside. It was like, well, I guess we are eating breakfast cereal for dinner. I mean, or you're eating something that, you know, can be cooked on the barbecue, because nobody was turning the oven on. That was just crazy. And there would only be like a few days where it would be unbearably hot, so you get, you know, crappy sleep and whatever. But I feel like, you know, and I know people don't think climate change is real, but something's going on, because I read something and they said it's like hotter everywhere. So, and then if like the winters are getting more extreme as well. So I don't know, but being hot and sweaty is not high on my super fun times list. So come on. Oh, I should probably pull all these little dryer sheet pieces out of my bags to reuse them. But I also have an entire box of dryer sheets because I don't use dryer sheets. I had to have my husband go to the store one day because he was taking my mom to the drugstore, and I was like, hey, can you get some dryer sheets? And he's like, what? He goes, we don't use those. And I'm like, I know, but it's for my diamond paintings. I need it for the static. And so I was trying to have him find, you know, one that didn't have scents or, you know, awful chemicals. And he's like, I'm pretty sure that negates the purpose of dryer sheets. But he did find one that was unscented at least. But everyone in the family has like way too sensitive skin. And so I can't use dryer sheets or laundry soap that has anything harsh or like strong scents, because it's just a nightmare. Everybody gets all red and rashy, and you know, when you don't use those things, then when you're around somebody who uses like a really strong scented laundry soap, or they use, you know, dryer sheets or whatever it is, you notice a difference. Like you can, you can smell the floralness or the whatever it is. And, you know, people don't believe me. And I'm like, no, I can tell. It's really strong when you're not used to using stuff like that. So, I mean, we don't have any sense. And so, yeah. Whew. I've been places where it's like you're standing in line and you're like, whoa, that person smells like a meadow and a mountain, like threw up all over that person. Whew. And maybe I'm just jealous because I don't get to use anything that has fun scents. But I know they're like, you know, you can use essential oils or something like that, but they don't, you know, I mean, they're not, the artificial scents and all that are made to last a long time. So anything that's more natural is going to dissipate a lot faster than, you know, Tide or All or, you know, any of those grocery store brands. So we've been using the laundry sheets, like the little, you know, sheet of basically laundry soap. But then I watched a video, and, you know, because a lot of times people, they say that they're, you know, plastic free. So you're not, you know, using the giant plastic bottles and it's better for the environment, blah, blah, blah. Well, turns out that a lot of the, you know, the sheet ones, they have PVA inside of the little, you know, the soap sheet basically. And PVA is plastic. And their whole thing is like, well, you know, you're not creating more plastic. So it's better for the environment. But the problem with the PVA in the laundry sheet is that technically PVA is plastic. So you're putting microplastics into the water system. And I guess if you live in like a big city and it have like, you know, a really good wastewater treatment facility, they can have certain biomes and organisms and whatever's that they can basically, I don't know, they react with the PVA and it creates carbon dioxide or something. I don't know. It was really complicated, but a lot of places don't have that. So, and if you're on a septic, which we are, there's no way to know that wherever they're taking the septic waste has those specific microorganisms that turn the PVA molecules into happy, shiny things. So that was kind of a bummer because I'm like, oh, geez, you know, you think you're doing something good. Like, yes, I'm reducing my plastic. I'm, you know, helping save the world. And it's like, well, no, now I'm just putting microplastics directly into the water. That's just freaking great. So yeah, it's like, well, that sucks because I have like 6 boxes of those. So, but then then there was another video that was like, no, that's an over exaggeration. And so you're like, well, okay, which one is it? Like, I'm just, you know, I need it to be somewhat easy because I don't want to have to do like tons of research just to make sure that I'm doing laundry in the best, you know, way possible, because I don't want microplastics in my body. I don't want to be putting microplastics into the world and into the streams, and yeah, it's like there's no winning. There's no winning. Like, you can try to do good and do this, but then it's like you turn around and you find out what you've been doing, which you thought was amazing, is no, you're actually harming the environment still. So it's like my husband, he's so like, it's not that he doesn't want to recycle, but he's like, if I have to work that hard, I'm not doing it. And so, you know, he makes fun of me because I'll be like separating things, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that. Sorry. I mean, and our recycling bin is always chock full. And, you know, some of that is just like if you have anything delivered, you have a giant cardboard box. Oh, see, look at that. But then, you know, it's like, okay, if you have like a, you know, can of soda, or you have junk mail and magazines and all that stuff, like the recycling bin fills up so fast, which, you know, is good. It's great. We're recycling. But not if it doesn't fit in the recycling bin. So, and ours only comes every 2 weeks, which I'm like, honestly, we could have the garbage come every other week, and we could just have recycling come every week, and that would work better. But I know some people don't do that. And some people, you know, they don't even recycle, or they don't have recycling, which seems crazy in this day and age that recycling is not easily accessible for everyone, just, you know, based on how much garbage we produce and how cheaply things are made nowadays too. I mean, if you look at fast fashion, and I mean, they make the clothes like super cheap and crappy because they want you to go out and buy a new outfit in 2 weeks. And, you know, you have, you know, sites like, you know, Shein and Wish and Temu and all of that. And, you know, they're putting thousands and thousands of products up every day, every week. And, you know, I got sucked into Temu. I was like, I want to try this. I want to see what, you know, this, and I want to see if this is like a good deal. And yeah, it was a good deal. But the stuff I ordered was complete shit. I mean, nothing I ordered was high quality. It was all junk. I mean, I ordered some corner protectors that did not look like what they looked like on the website. They were not the right color. They were all like split and cracked and everything. I ordered like a little cute little plastic garbage can because I saw someone else do it on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. And then I order it, and it, like, I don't know if it got flattened in transit, or if it was just, it never would have closed properly in the first place because that thing was crushed. I mean, I don't even know if it would have been able to properly, the can lid would have fit on the can. I really don't. So, yeah. So it's just, you know, stuff like that. It's, you know, it's not made ethically. It's cheap, you know, labor where people probably aren't paid a decent wage. And, you know, it's, yeah. So it's a lot of stuff that's not made to last. I mean, it's made to be like, hey, look, I got this shiny thing. Because, you know, our society is basically like, we need new stuff all the time because everyone else is getting new stuff. So I need new stuff. So I didn't mean to get on my soapbox, but I try really hard not to get jealous and envious of other people and what they have, you know, but it can be really hard. It's, you know, sometimes you see people getting, it's like it just seems like they get whatever they want. And, you know, yeah, I just did this. I just bought new furniture. We just went on this trip. I just did this. And, you know, you're like, okay, how the hell do you afford that? Because, you know, here I am, like, looking at my grocery bill, and I'm like, yeah, that was $100 more than it was 2 weeks ago. And we didn't even buy meat or stuff. So, it's hard. I see those, you know, I see people that have, you know, their stash videos on YouTube, and I'm not, you know, people need to do what they do. You know, it makes you happy to buy diamond paintings every week. Like, hey, go for it, you know? I try not to get sucked into the YOLO because it would be so easy for me to try to order new diamond paintings every time I see something that I'm like, ooh, I like that, I like that, I like that. But, you know, it's like, at the same time, it's like, okay, am I going to be able to complete that in a timely manner? No, probably not, you know? And like my husband said, he goes, I want to retire someday, and we're not going to be able to go and like travel the world and pay for college for the kids with diamond paintings or with, you know, whatever craft hobby that I've adopted for that, you know, year, or, you know, or if we buy a new car every year or every, you know, 3 years, or we lease a new car or whatever we do, or we buy a boat or whatever. I mean, we're not going to be able to pay for things with stuff. You know, unfortunately, those things are always going to require money. But so it's hard, you know, to try to be intentional about, really think about the things you want, you know. And some people, you know, have had to do that as a necessity. And, you know, they probably can do it a lot better than a lot of us can. So I know I struggle. I put stuff in carts all the time, and I'm like, no, 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 no. You don't need it. You want it. And there's a big difference. Like this project, for example, I was like sitting there going, no, I don't need to do that. That's something I want to do. But is it a need? No, absolutely not. But I was like, well, you know, but I really, and then it was like, no, 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 don't. And then it was kind of like, well, okay, you know, if you break it down by how many hours is this going to take me, let's say, you know, if a certain amount of squares or inches or, you know, whatever takes me a certain amount of hours, and I've spent how much money, you know, is the cost going to be worth it? And I feel like with some things, and like with diamond paintings, you know, you're definitely working on them for more than, you know, a few minutes. And so for me, it's kind of like, yeah, I think, you know, I do think that I will get as much enjoyment out of it that I'm putting into it financially, if that makes any sense at all. And I'm just rambling, so, I mean, it could not make sense, but. So. Ooh, this is a big boy. So, 3865. So, and that's why, you know, if I do buy diamond paintings, you know, I want to buy quality, because, you know, I've purchased, you know, ones from Amazon or, you know, budget sites, and, you know, some of them have been okay, but, you know, there's been ones that they've just been junk, and you basically, you know, you want to throw it away halfway through. Well, that's not cost efficient. I mean, yeah, it was only $5. It's like, but if I throw away, you know, 10 $5 diamond paintings, I could have bought one that was of good quality, and, you know, from a company that pays the people who are designing the art and are fairly licensing it, because, you know, a lot of the companies that, you know, mass produce and ship things from overseas, they don't have the same copyright laws. So they just take whatever images they want and slap it on there and call it good. So it's, you know, yeah, you're paying more, but, you know, if the quality is better, if you're going to enjoy it more, then, you know, I feel like that's a fair trade-off. But, you know, and you might not be able to afford it. And, you know, that's okay too. I just, you know, I wouldn't, you know, I would feel awful buying something that, you know, from a company, or, you know, an image that, you you know, they basically stole from an artist. I mean, you know, there's lots of the, you know, knockoff Disney and all that stuff. And I mean, it's like, where do you draw the line of like, yeah, Disney probably doesn't need any more money. Let's be real. But yeah, how do you determine like what images are okay to not pay for and which ones are? So, but that's, again, that's just my perspective on the matter. Well, I am making a giant mess, and I don't even know how many bottles of this is gonna take. It's gonna be quite a few, and I still have these ones right there. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. This bag is not user friendly at all. Of course, it very well could be operator error. Let's be real. And oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Regroup. Let's see. How about we go? Oh, let's get our dryer sheets out of there. Let's try it this way. So all those are full. So let's try. Oh my gosh. Wow. Smooth. So smooth. That's a little better. Okay, let's put lids on so we don't make an even bigger mess. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. Whoa, that is probably way too much. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is a disaster. Way too full. Oh, and there's, oh, well, that's not gonna help anything. I have a little dryer sheet trying to escape down there. And another one. How many dryer sheets? Oh my gosh, I almost spilled that all over. There. Okay, seriously, I added like 50 pieces of dryer sheet to this one. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that was incredibly awkward. Okay, let's cork up these bad boys and try to get all of the loose. I mean, honestly, if I don't collect them all, I made out a, not as well, I don't really know how to make a spreadsheet, but I made out a Word document and I made a list of all the drill colors, the DMC numbers, and how many I needed. And then before I sent it over to the store on AliExpress, I added drills. So like for some of the smaller numbers where I only needed like 200 or whatever, I would add maybe like 50. And if it went up a little more, then it was like, okay, well, let's add, you know, let's add 100 or so. And with the ones with higher numbers, you know, like in the thousands, I'm like, okay, well, you know, they always say, like, I think, what is it? Some of the companies they add an extra 20% or an extra 30%. And so I think with this one, it was asking for like 19,000 something. And so I probably got like 2,100 or something, just because in case I spill them like right now, or if, you know, they're really trashy and junky or whatever the case may be, then I have some backup. Because that, you know, again, that was my fear. It was like, they're all the same dye lot now, so I don't want to risk having you know, the colors be all like wonky or whatever. So, oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Seriously. Obviously it's time to be done because, oh wow. Somebody send help. Jeez. Okay, wow, that's a mess. Let's see, I think I have one of these labeled. Yes, I do. I probably need another one, but okay, there's that. Oh, yep. And I need another one. Okay. So I would also I would love to know, what other diamond painters do you guys watch? I mean, I know there's like the usual suspects, you know, you have the Diamonds and Washi and, you know, Emeralds and Fairy Lights and, you know, Mrs. Coffee and all that jazz. But like, what are your other people that you like to watch? I think the first diamond painting video I think I found was, I think it was Add More Zest. And I was like super interested because I'm like, what is this diamond painting thing? And it was just like mesmerizing. And then I believe, like it showed me Joan diamond paints, which, I mean, like we will live in the same state. So, I mean, we could practically be diamond painting besties. So, you know, Joan, if you're watching, call me. We could diamond paint together. And let's see. Then, because I think I watched Add More Zest, then they started recommending a bunch of like more UK-based diamond painters. So then I'm like, oh, okay, this is, you know, whatever. And, you know, I watch people, I watch and listen to things at 2 times the speed because I'm impatient, number one. And, you know, I'm like, I want to watch as much as I can. I want to listen to as much as I can. So I've always done it with like audiobooks and podcasts and all that stuff. My husband makes fun of me because he says it sounds like people going, but it's just, it's, you know, I'm used to it. But when I started watching, you know, people from the UK, I have a really hard time with English accents. Like, we watch Harry Potter, and I'm literally like, I have no idea what they're saying. And it's like, it's not like they're doing anything wrong or, you know, it's just for some reason, English accents, my brain is like, it doesn't understand what's going on. And so watching, you know, people who, you know, are UK based, I was like, oh gosh, I have to not watch this at 2 times the speed because I would just be like, what are they saying? And now and it's funny, now I can understand people a lot better. And we even had Harry Potter on and I was like, I understand what they're saying. And so, you know, thank you UK based diamond painters, because you have helped me not have to strain to be able to understand. And I don't know why. It's like no other accents, but it just, for some reason, my brain just cannot understand what's going on. But one of my new favorite diamond painting content, I've really been enjoying Kitting Up Kitten and Cal's Sparkles, and they're the ones who hosted the DIY DP event where there was the cross stitch conversion event, and they do lives together, and it's just like they just rag on each other and, you know, make fun of each other, and they have little, you know, contests, and so it's very fun to watch, you know, people not taking themselves too seriously, because I'm not an overly serious person. Obviously, if I was perfect, I wouldn't be spilling these diamonds all over my table and not picking them up right away. So, you know, it is what it is. So, but yeah, who else, like what other diamond painters do people watch? Because I'd like to know. You know, and obviously shameless plug, but you know, like, subscribe, share, all that jazz if you are enjoying my awkwardness. Yeah, okay, that seems very dangerous. I'm gonna move those completely away from everything else so I don't mix them up completely and just make a giant mess. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so close to the finish line. Woo. I even taped up my canvas. What? I got out my canvas because I had them made too big because I was terrified that I might not word what I wanted correctly, and you know, I want the poured glue area to be a certain size. But I was sitting there and I was kind of panicking because I know sometimes the poured glue area and the canvas size do not match up. And so that was one of my main concerns, was that I'm going to spend, you know, $100 on these 3 canvases and they're not going to be the right size. So I had them made, I think it was like maybe 5 centimeters too big. And so, yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, if they don't fit, I'm literally going to cry. And I mean, with my design, realistically, you probably could cut it like, and nobody would know except for me. But, you know, I'm doing all the work. Let's do it how it's supposed to be done. You know what I mean? So, but luckily they will fit and then some. But then you have the, okay, well now what the hell do I do? Because now I have, you know, like 20 extra squares on both sides, or I don't think it's 20. I think it might be less than that. But yeah, then I was like, well, that was kind of dumb. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten them so big. But, you know, if you don't get them big, then you're going to worry that you didn't get them big enough. So it's a no-win situation. So, oh my gosh. Okay, this is my last one. Blanc. And I will say, I did say in one of my other videos, I believe, I'm probably just repeating myself at this point, but you know, if you're still here, seriously, you're amazing. So the store that I ordered my drills from, the DPF or DFP Handwork store, they had the Blanc, the Ecru, and the B5200. And EverMoment did not have those. So if you do get a cross-stitch pattern and you don't want to substitute them because, you know, you probably already have the colors that they're asking you to substitute for in your thing, and if you don't want it to look, you know, whatever, they have those. So that was one of my selling points. And Joan Diamond Paints recommended them, and if she's done a bunch of these, then, you know, I trust her judgment. So, oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for sticking around and watching me awkwardly chat. Again, this is what I am working on. I am so excited. I am hoping to get it started. And because I know other people like to watch people struggle and be awkward, I am going to record me doing the first, I think, 4 squares. The first little cluster I'm gonna record. And so you can all feel better about your skill levels because I will be probably making a mess and screwing up. So that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you could like, subscribe, share, send me an emoji in the comments. I don't know. That would be great. And I will see you guys next time, and have a good day. Yeah, okay. Goodbye. Awkwardness. Lots of awkwardness. Come back for awkwardness. Thank you. Bye.